You must have observed the boiling of water. So when you boil water, heat it for a long time, so you see that the liquid form changes into the gaseous form. That is, water changes into steam. And you see bubbles throughout the bulk of the liquid. If you record the temperature at which the change takes place, it is 100 degrees. That is, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. How does boiling take place? So we have the liquid form. As we provide heat, so the increase in heat leads to an increase in the kinetic energy of the particles. As the kinetic energy increases, the speed of the particles increase. Therefore, the interparticle space between the particles also increases. This decreases the intermolecular force of attraction, and therefore the liquid form changes into the gaseous form. Let's revise how this process of boiling takes place. So as the temperature increases, so you provide heat energy to the liquid. That increases the kinetic energy of the particles. As the kinetic energy of the particles increase, the speed of the particles also increases. Due to this, the interparticle space between the particles increases. As the interparticle space between the particles increase, the interparticle forces of attraction between the particles, that decreases, and therefore the liquid changes into the gaseous form. You've also seen the drying up of your clothes. So when you wash your clothes, you keep them, you hang them on the clothes rope. You see that they dry after some time. And the temperature, say the temperature outside is 30 degrees Celsius or 35 degrees Celsius. So the evaporation or the change when your clothes, the wet clothes are drying, that takes place around 30, 35 or 40 degrees Celsius. This temperature is not 100 degrees Celsius. This is much below 100 degrees Celsius. That is much below the boiling point of water. And this is the process of evaporation. How is evaporation taking place? Let's see. So these particles that are present on the surface, they have lesser forces of attraction as compared to the particles which are in the bulk of the liquid. So a little heat from the surroundings increase their kinetic energy to such an extent that they overcome these forces of attraction and they escape as gas. So evaporation is a surface phenomena. They extract heat from the surroundings, and so the surface particles, they evaporate. That is, they change into the gaseous form. So let's see how evaporation takes place. So the temperature increases. That is, the surface particles extract heat from the surroundings. In doing so, their kinetic energy increases. As the kinetic energy of the surface particles increases, the speed of the surface particles also increase. Because of this, the interparticle space between the surface particles increases. The interparticle force of attraction between the surface particles decrease, and due to this, the liquid on the surface changes into the gaseous form. And this is how evaporation takes place. So now let's compare evaporation that you observe every day when you wash and dry your clothes and boiling. That is, when you heat water, it changes into the gaseous form. So you know evaporation is a slow process. It takes time for the clothes to dry. But when you boil water, it is a very rapid process. You quickly see the steam coming out of water. So boiling is a rapid process. Evaporation is a slow process. Evaporation takes place at the surface. We know that evaporation is a surface phenomena. It takes place at the surface. And boiling takes place throughout. So you see that bubbles are formed throughout the bulk of the liquid. These bubbles signify that boiling is taking place throughout the bulk. That is, each and every particle experiences the change. Each and every particle extracts heat and changes into the liquid form. So boiling is taking place throughout the bulk of the liquid, whereas evaporation, being a surface phenomena, takes place only at the surface. Also, evaporation takes place below the boiling point. We know boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, but when you keep your clothes for drying, the temperature may be 30, 35 or 40 degrees Celsius. That is much below the boiling point of water. So evaporation always takes place below the boiling point, whereas boiling, water boils to form steam only at 100 degrees Celsius. That is at the boiling point of water. So these are the differences between evaporation and boiling.